Have you ever looked at your life, your calendar full, your goals set, and thought, why does none of this feel like it means anything? If so, you're not alone, and you're not crazy. You're living inside a story that's come apart. And today, I want to share 6 modern philosophy books that help explain why. Each of these books has radically shaped how I understand life today, and I think they might do the same for you. The Burnout Society, Byung-Chul Han. Han argues we're no longer oppressed by outside forces, but instead we oppress ourselves. You're not lazy, you're tired because you've become an achievement machine, constantly optimizing, producing, and improving yourself. But to what end? Neoliberalism has commodified the human experience and teaches us that our purpose is to consume and achieve so we can consume even more. We've all internalized that logic so much that at the end of the day, you police yourself to be a good achievement citizen within the Burnout Society. The Crisis of Narration, Byung-Chul Han. My personal favorite of Han's, this one goes deeper. Without shared stories, we lose the ability to orient ourselves in life. Postmodernism has cast doubt on all meta-narratives and truth. Instead, I have a truth, you have a truth, but there is no more capital T truth which we can all come together around. We don't know who we are anymore. Instead of binding narratives, we sell each other superficial stories about our lives on social media. Without a binding narrative to make sense of our lives, we are lost with no direction and no meaning in our lives. Instead, we need to reclaim the ability to narrate life again and find our shared truths. Love and the Postmodern Predicament, D.C. Schindler. If you've ever felt like beauty, truth, and goodness aren't real anymore, this one's for you. Like I was just saying, the postmodern society we live in is absurd because we've lost the ability to have truth along with beauty and goodness. Schindler brings ancient philosophy into today's chaos to show us how goodness, beauty, and truth aren't just constructs of the mind and subjectivity, but they are real metaphysical realities we can be in a deep relationship with. And that relationship manifests as love, a unifying experience of being aligned with what is supremely good, beautiful, and true. In other words, love isn't just a feeling, it's an expression of what's most real. Meaning in life and why it matters, Susan Wolf. Wolf says meaning doesn't come from doing just what you like, from your subjectivity. It doesn't come from happiness, pleasure, or just being a good person. It comes from engaging in things beyond ourselves that we recognize as intrinsically valuable. It comes from loving something that's worthy of love. Heidegger, Neoplatonism, and the History of Being, James Filler. Big metaphysics alert, but stay with me. This book helps ground the rest of the ideas we've just been talking about. It situates these conversations within a worldview. Filler argues that the deepest problem in modern life is how we understand being itself, existence. If you think reality is just stuff, atoms and physical laws, then yeah, of course life feels hollow. There's no place for us there, our mind and our values. But what if reality is relational? What if instead of thinking about existence substantially, we recognize that fundamentally all things find their being in relationship to other things? So for example, something is small not because it has the property of smallness itself, but because there is comparatively something larger. That means that what is most fundamental is not stuff, since stuff cannot contain its own properties. Instead, it's the possibility of relationships that enable properties to emerge that is most fundamental. Filler argues that the ground of being is pure relationality rather than substantiality. This flip on metaphysics could help solve a lot of problems today, like how to think about consciousness, ethics, and even how to reconcile relativity with quantum mechanics in physics. It's a dense book of metaphysics, but probably the most important on this list. The Creative Act, Rick Rubin. My favorite practical read. Rick Rubin, the famous music producer, channels Buddhist and Eastern-inspired wisdom for creative living. Creativity for Rubin isn't just about producing something new. It's about applying our human capacities to listen to reality and create something beautiful and meaningful. You don't have to be an artist. You just have to learn how to listen to what he calls source. We have all kinds of problems in our daily lives, but if we deploy presence and listen carefully to what life is telling us, we can generate the right solutions. It's all about developing our taste, our good judgment. In a word, wisdom. Each of these books, in their own way, points to the same thing. We're starving not for success, individualism, and achievement, but for cultivating wisdom. We need to tend to our soul. The cure for burnout, nihilism, or distraction isn't more hustle, material stuff, or even knowledge. It's recovering a different worldview of what's real, what's worth loving, and how to live well. If this spoke to you, I highly recommend watching a few of my videos where I unpack these ideas in these books in more depth. Subscribe for more videos like this, and thank you for watching. I hope this has helped.